22 years prior to the present, in the town of Lobetown, Marine Vice Admiral Garp is in charge of the execution of notorious pirate Gold Roger in front of a big audience. A bystander queries Roger about where he left his riches after Garp pronounces the death sentence. When Roger explains that he left it for someone to find, his executioners immediately stab him in the back. Roger laughs as the throng breaks into a frenzy and scatters, leaving Garp confused and alarmed. The Great Pirate Era would officially begin with Roger's last words. Monkey D. Luffy speaks to a news coup in the present about his intention to set sail and assemble a pirate crew in order to participate in the era that Roger began, which Shanks had previously told him about. The news coup tries to follow him, but it takes off. When Luffy notices the small dinghy is sinking, he climbs inside a barrel that is drifting away after the boat sinks. Luffy is left alone on the small dinghy, which is swiftly filling with water. During the skirmish, Luffy's barrel is found. The Alvida pirates in a passenger boat are engaged in a naval combat. The ship's crew is easily defeated during an invasion led by the crew's captain, Alvida. Alvida demands to know the whereabouts of the bounty hunter Roronoa Zoro after rounding up the inmates because she thinks he is chasing her because of her bounty. A crew member confesses that while they did take Zoro to Sixus Island, Alvida was not on his list of intended victims. Alvida becomes enraged by this and murders the man with a club in the shape of a duck before directing cabin boy Koby to clean up the mess. On the Miss Love Duck that evening, Koby is cleaning the club below deck when he hears movement coming from inside Luffy's barrel. As he gets close to it, Luffy suddenly erupts, startling him and making him cry in terror. Luffy then has to calm him down. Koby tells Luffy about the Alvida pirates as he searches the storage area for food and inquires about his whereabouts. Koby is shocked when Luffy admits that he is a pirate as well because Luffy did not strike him as one because he is so different from the violent members of Alvida's crew. While growing up in Windmill Village 10 years ago, Luffy looked up to the Red Hair Pirates and their commander, Shanks, who frequently dropped by. He claims that the pirates he knew are not like that. After being rejected from joining their crew, he slashed himself in the right eye to show them how tough he was. Luffy responds that he wants to find Roger's treasure ship, the One Piece, cruise the Grand Line, and have more freedom than anybody else when Koby asks him why he wants to be a pirate in the present. Koby, who informs Luffy that the Grand Line is known as the Pirate Graveyard, is shocked by this. He is also taken aback by Luffy's comment about freedom because he is effectively a slave in Alvida's company. Koby informs Luffy that he had to escape right away before it's too late when the Alvida pirates are dozing. Infiltrating the crew's sleeping quarters above deck, the two make their way to the helm, where Luffy takes an oar. Luffy strokes the oar and unintentionally strikes a bell, waking up the crew, including Alvida, as Koby instructs him on how to go to the closest shore. She bursts out in a rage and confronts the two, thinking that Koby has hired Luffy as a bounty hunter to look for her. Alvida becomes enraged and pulls out her iron mace to strike them when Luffy reveals his thoughts on her and what Koby informed him about her. As the remainder of Alvida's crew joins the fray, one of them fires at Luffy, but the bullet is deflected by his body and comes back at him. Then, Luffy reveals that in order to evade the pirates' strikes, he can stretch his body in an abnormal way. During her frenzied rage, Alvida accidentally ignites the Miss Love Duck, and after blaming Koby for it, she makes plans to murder him. Luffy, though, deflects the punch harmlessly with his skull. He then extends his arm far behind him before snapping it at Alvida and hitting her using the gum-gum pistol technique. Alvida is knocked overboard by the force of the punch, and the rest of her crew gives up. Get a boat and supplies for Luffy and Koby, who will be traveling with him, he orders. Roronoa Zoro is bowing down at a shrine on Sixus Island in remembrance of a person he knows. An individual who Zoro is aware has been stalking him for the past few days approaches him. The man identifies himself as Mr. Seven and explains that he has been looking for Zoro in order to invite him to join the assassin group known as Baroque Works. Zoro rejects his invitation since he has no desire to join and is annoyed that they only sent number 7 to seek him out. Mr. Seven becomes enraged by this and prepares to use his 2 swords to slay Zoro. Zoro draws 2 swords, one at a time. In the 2 duel, Zoro quickly wins after severing Mr. Seven at the waist and killing him. The following day, Koby and Luffy are in a little rowboat out at sea. Luffy explains to Koby how his body may stretch in response to his question. 10 years ago, Luffy was at a pub with the Red Hair Pirates after failing to persuade Shanks to challenge him. He persisted in pleading with Shanks to take him, but Shanks refused, saying that 7-year-old Luffy was incapable of swimming. In a chamber filled with treasure chests, Luffy stormed out and opened a specific little box after spotting it. A strange fruit was found inside the package, so a hungry Luffy decided to eat it. In the meantime, Higuma and his band of mountain bandits barged in and ordered drinks, but Makino told them she had run out. Shanks offered Higuma the remaining bottle after apologizing for depleting the stock. However, Higuma reacted angrily by smashing it over the counter. After Higuma mocked him and broke additional things for Shanks to fix before he and his gang left, Shanks responded by apologizing to Makino and beginning to clean up the mess. After witnessing this, Luffy lashed out at Shanks, labeling him a coward because he thought a true man would have retaliated. Shanks was unable to persuade Luffy to change his mind, so he grabbed him by the arm and pulled him back into the bar. To everyone's surprise, Luffy kept moving forward although his arm was flexing like elastic. He had consumed the gum-gum fruit, a devil fruit that converted him into rubber. Once back on the boat, Luffy quickly demonstrates that he lacks both a map and any navigating skills, making Koby regret accompanying him. Koby unwillingly admits that he wants to join the Marines when Luffy asks him what he wants to do. Koby is not thrilled with Luffy's decision to go to a Marine base so Koby can join and he can receive a map to the Grand Line. In the meantime, 2 pirates approach Nami, a lady who is alone on a boat with nothing except a treasure box. She seeks for their assistance while claiming to have been attacked by pirates and appears to have no idea who they are. The pirates concur, but they first concentrate on discovering what is in her treasure trove. After they finally open it and discover nothing inside, they turn around to see Nami sailing away in their boat, leaving them stranded. Nami searches through the maps that are kept on board after she makes her getaway. The Marine 153rd Branch is located in Shell's Town, where Luffy and Koby arrive. They visit a bar where Zoro and Nami are also present after perusing the wanted posters of various notorious pirates. The bartender Rurika's young daughter, Rika, likes Zoro and offers him some rice balls she's cooked with chocolate. Helmeppo, the son of Marine Captain Axehand Morgan, who commands the 153rd Branch, happens to cross her path accidentally. In response to this slight, Helmeppo slams one of her rice balls with his feet after knocking the other to the ground. Zoro tells Helmeppo to eat the other rice ball and apologize to the woman before taking the broken rice ball and eating it. The Marines inside begin to attack Zoro while Helmeppo draws his sword from its sheath and gets ready to battle him. While this happens, a fight breaks out. Zoro, on the other hand, quickly disarms Helmeppo and dispatches the Marines using nothing but the hilts of his swords. During the commotion, Nami knocks an attractive Marine to the ground and begins robbing him of his uniform. When Zoro confronts Helmeppo and learns that his father will give the swordsman anything he desires, Zoro decides to use the situation to approach Morgan for some cash. Zoro is escorted into the Marine base where he encounters Morgan, who praises Zoro's fortitude and declines his invitation to join the Marines. However, Morgan warns that attacking Marines is a crime punishable by 7 days in jail. If Zoro does not give himself in, he would no longer be eligible to collect government bounties on Mr. 7. Zoro wants to collect the bounty on Mr. 7. Zoro consents to being detained and claims that it might allow him to sleep. While thinking about how to break into the Marine base to steal the map, Luffy and Koby get ready to go to sleep on their parked boat. Luffy quickly has an idea when he notices a sewer pipe nearby. The following day, Helmeppo confronts Zoro and mocks him with one of his own swords. Helmeppo admits that Morgan has no intention of letting him go free, despite Zoro's assurance that he will be held accountable after his captivity is over. Nami, meantime, has put on the stolen Marine uniform and enters the base covertly. After that, Luffy emerges from a sewer grate and finds himself in Zoro's clearing. He introduces himself to the swordsman and extends an invitation to join his crew, but Zoro declines, pointing out that Luffy's line of work is inherently incompatible with his. Zoro answers Luffy's question about his motivations by saying that he made a promise to someone to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Despite the swordsman's rejection to join him, Luffy releases him out of respect for Zoro's dream before returning to the sewer. Nami enters a library inside the facility and, when a different Marine challenges her and says she shouldn't be there, she responds that she was ordered by Morgan to locate a map of the Grand Line. The Marine claims that there aren't any since Morgan keeps such maps locked up in his office, but Nami manages to allay suspicion by instructing the Marine to check her suspicions with Morgan. Nami's deception, however, quickly comes to an end when the Marine whose uniform she stole shows there, instantly identifying and outing her as a forger. Nami pulls out a bow staff and dispatches the two Marines, but Luffy unexpectedly joins them after tumbling through a ceiling grate. Luffy claims he heard everything and knows Nami is a phony before she resumes her facade and attempts to get him arrested. He does agree to collaborate though, as they both want to uncover the Grand Line map. Helmeppo is playing with Zoro's weapons while naked in his chamber when Zoro unexpectedly enters. Zoro says he has something much worse in mind when Helmeppo asks if he's going to kill him. As Luffy and Nami are making their way down the base hallway, Morgan himself unexpectedly crosses their path. Nami flimsily concocts an alibi for her identity by saying that she is transporting Luffy to the brig. In the end, Morgan permits them to go, and Nami tells Luffy that she pickpocketed the office keys from him during the meeting. Nami initially declines Luffy's invitation to join his crew, making it clear that she despises pirates. The two enter Morgan's office and search the space for the map until Luffy unintentionally flips a switch that enables a safe to rise from the ground. When Morgan enters the library, he discovers the two battered Marines who disclose the truth about Nami, prompting him to raise the alarm. With no time to open the safe, Luffy is able to use his strength to lift it off the floor as Morgan enters his office and breaks through the door with his axe hand. When the safe is opened, a sudden force throws Luffy and Nami out the window and into the clearing below. Zoro joins the pair as they battle back against the Marines' onslaught while Morgan and his soldiers sprint down to confront them. When Morgan shows there, Luffy and Zoro fight him off while Nami takes care of the other foot soldiers. Due to his considerable physical strength and lethal axe hand, Morgan proves to be a much tougher opponent than his men. However, after revealing his three-sword style, Zoro is able to defeat him. Zoro holds Morgan's axe hand with his swords, allowing Luffy to launch the Gum Gum Whip, a stretched kick that hits Morgan in the face and kills him. Zoro steals the safe containing the maps and brings it to Luffy's yacht, where Luffy and Nami are waiting. Although Luffy begins to refer to the group as a crew, the other two vehemently disagree. Helmeppo, whose hair has been damaged by Zoro's swords, appears as Luffy gets ready to go for Koby before leaving in order to arrest the group. To Luffy's great joy, Koby arrives and knocks him unconscious. When Koby is told by Luffy that it is time to leave, he admits that he will not be following them because he wants to join the Marines at this location and make his own decision for the first time in a very long time. Although they are aware that one day they may be adversaries, Luffy supports his commitment and they part ways as friends on this particular day. Garp receives a call from Shell's town via Den Den Mushi informing him that a pirate wearing a straw hat stole a map of the Grand Line while he was on a marine battleship at sea. Garp and Bogard get ready to go to Shell's town after taking the news seriously. Kabeji, who was in the Shell's town bar with Luffy's group, tells his captain Buggy about his encounter with the three pirates and how they managed to get their hands on the map. Buggy sits preparing to steal the map for himself since he claims he was outnumbered and could not stop them.